You are now watching Chad 76 Media.
So we're in a fairly cold 5 degrees, northern Italy, testing the new Multistrada Rally. Essentially, Ducati are calling it a globe-trotting motorcycle, so it's not massively off-road. It's an adventure bike with a 19-inch front wheel, so it can go off-road. But if you want to go, you know, if you really want to smash it off-road, then you've got the Desert X. So it's an adventure bike that's capable of taking on anything. We're not going to do any off-road today, it's all on-road. But basically, today, testing the new electronics and new rider aids, which there is an abundance of. So we've got some new linked braking, where the back does the front and the front does the back, and vice versa, depending on which mode you're in. We've got the DVO, which is the Ducati Vehicle Observation, which is virtual sensors kind of predicting what I'm doing and reacting to how I'm riding. We've got the automatic lowering of the rear shock. We've got the rear cylinder deactivation at low speeds. We've got this kind of clever system where when the front goes over a bump, it kind of informs the back what's going to happen, so it softens the rear. So the front, what the front suspension doing is changing what the rear suspension is doing. It's stuff that we've seen on the suspension just lowered. So it's gone to minimum preload, so I can touch the floor if I want. That'll go back up when speed increases. What was I saying before the suspension took over? Yeah, so the front does the back and back does the when the front goes over a bump, it's informing and telling the back. I need to concentrate a bit here. Thank you, Mr. French Rider. What else is pretty cool? All the rider aids, as you'd expect: lead sensitive traction, lead sensitive ABS. There is an off-road or an enduro mode. Yeah, there's a lot of tech going on. It's a lot of tech we've seen already on the Multistrada V4S that I've tested previously. But now it's on the Multistrada Rally. And what makes that a little bit unique and a little bit more different is you can't just put one system on the other bike, because this has got more suspension travel, 20mm more, I think, off the top of my head. Still got loads of power. So everything's had to be reconfigured for the longer travel suspension. So it's about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We've been riding all day. I've had a nice morning on the dash for the majority of the day. It's just started to sleet and snow, but the V4 Rally, what a bike for these conditions. So there you go. So heat grips now come as standard, up to 5 levels. Heat seat is an optional extra. Screen is really big, manually adjustable, not electronic. I've closed these little vents here, so you can open those up to get cool air, but I've closed them because obviously it's freezing. I've got lean sensitive ABS, lean sensitive traction, I've got wheelie control, I've got linked braking, so I can just rely on the back brake and that'll do the front when I'm in touring mode or ABS 3. That's why the rear disc is now bigger. This 30 litre aluminium fuel tank and relatively wide bodywork means I've got really good wind protection. The back 2 cylinders have got deactivation, so they cut off at low speed or when I'm stationary. I'd like it if there was a button that kept them going, because that'd keep me a bit warmer, but that's a good system. It takes heat off the rider in summer and it gives better fuel economy. The self-lowering suspension is really impressive, so that takes preload out the rear shock at low speed, which basically means I can get 2 feet on the ground very securely. Comfort is excellent. The handguards are actually pretty good. The dash is relatively simple, although there's a few extra icons now. It's keyless ignition, so I won't start it because the guys are filming behind me. There's just a few little extras that we've not had before. So this on the left, that does the suspension, so I've got it on minimum at the moment. Mode, pretty self-explanatory, that does the modes. Go back, that's kind of nicely backlit to make it a bit easier. But it's the pretty familiar switchgear and layout that you have on the Multistrada V4S. Obviously the Skyhook suspension, centre stand, big bash plate. Right, we're getting ready to go do some more miles. So just have a look at all the modes and everything. So when we're in urban, we've got the traction on 6, ABS 3, wheelie control 6, suspension in comfort, front suspension is medium, and I've got the preloading auto. Then go to enduro, wheelie control is off, all the suspension is auto. You can see that the ABS is now 1, so that's just front. And then in wet, sport, and then if I want to change these, I can do. So I can turn the wheelie control down, for example. So go to sport setup. I can turn the traction off, should I want to, but considering conditions are freezing, I might turn that off though. Yes. Right, let's go back. Go do some work. Cheers, Marco. So now I'm in sport, the suspension feels very different. This is that Skyhook. It's still adapting to what I'm doing, but it knows that I want to ride sporty. The throttle response is more lively. Yeah, definitely more lively. Brakes are different. Let me try the back, see if the back does the front. I'm pretty sure the back no longer does the front now. Let's try it to this hairpin. Yeah, so that's just back only. But the front does do the back, but the back doesn't do the front. There's a lot going on and a lot to get your head around. But it's all good. The weather is weird. So we're kind of above the clouds over there. So when you break through, you kind of, that's all fog and just awfulness and cold. And when you break through that, you're almost in sun and the roads are dry. But before you get to that bit, you got to get through it. But once you're through it and up here in the hills, it's not actually that bad. I mean, we're at a tropical 4 degrees now. This bike is finding grip that shouldn't be or isn't there, and then the more you kind of get used to it, the more you trust the rider aids, the more heat you develop in the tyres, the kind of better it comes. Like, it's 3 degrees, we've seen it down as low as 0, I've had ice warnings, yet my hands are toasty warm and the grip's out on maximum, I got the heated seat on, again, not on maximum. The screen's good, and that's on its lowest position. I got quite a lot of protection from the tank, and every time I hit a slippery bit like that, I got rider hits. This is a proper I will go anywhere type bike. So, a couple of nice bits. Little phone holder with a charger. Most of the switches and buttons are on this left hand side. So this is for suspension, so press that. And I've got auto leveling at the moment, or I can have it on low grip, or I can have it on comfort. So we'll go back, don't need that. If I want to go through any of the settings, I've got top left. So that is when I'm Bluetooth connected. I can change the front collision warning, I can change the adaptive cruise control. And then if I move down, then I can look at all my trips, range, tyre, pressure, consumption and everything else. On the right hand side here I've got engine braking, traction control, ABS and wheelie control off because I'm in sport and I've switched that off. But if I go to the mode button here, I can change that and we'll go to touring, go back to home, and now everything's changed. So I've got wheelie control on 5, ABS 3, traction 5 and engine brake control on 1. So that's that side. This is all the cruise control and adaptive cruise control. I've got heated grips on this side. When I press that, I can go into the menu and I can change the heated grip level and the heated seat level. Pillion gets a little switch back here to do their seat. And I think that's everything covered. Oh, little phone holder with a little USB charger on that side. And another charging point there. So if I go to front collision warning, I can turn it off, lengthen it, and it's same with the adaptive cruise control. Pretty trick, eh? And luckily Ducati found us the twistiest, bumpiest road in Italy. Look at that. Just follow the fog light of the guy in front. Well, to be fair, Ducati have now fitted an optional fog light, which I can't remember any other manufacturer doing, to be fair. But probably wrong. Oh, it's such a good idea to use a black ricer. Oh. And everybody says it's glamorous, Chad. The amount of seat heights is quite extraordinary. I think it goes from like, because there's a lowering kit as well, you can go from 805 to 905 mil, because you can have comfort seats which will increase the seat height, you can have lower seats, there's a lowered suspension kit, and then on top of that you got the self-lowering suspension, which essentially at slow speeds take the preload out. When you take the preload out, the bike sits on the spring, which could be 15 or 30 mil, it depends on the weight of the rider and luggage and etc. So if you've got loads of weight, especially towards the back of the bike, as in a pillion and luggage, then it'll drop more. If you're relatively light and small like me, then it doesn't drop as much. So it's just dropped then. So I've got 2 good feet on the ground. You can see it on the dash there. And then as I go up to speed, it'll come back up. It drops quite dramatically, but when it comes back 50 kilometres, just come back up, it comes up really, it's hard to notice, but when it takes the preload off you go, oh. It's kind of a bit unusual at first. But it does mean short is like me can get 2 feet on the ground. So I did start thinking about a verdict. It's a bit of a difficult one because I think we need to, I mean, you've got to do some big 2-up mileage on this thing, because it's going to be phenomenal 2-up, because that active suspension from Marzocchi is going to work even better, because you're not going to have to change anything. You can just put it in auto. You can put pillion plus luggage, but just leave it in auto. But as a kind of first impression, we've done a couple of 100 kilometres. Well, power it never needed any more of, torque it didn't need any more of, styling I actually like this new colour. I'd have this over the red. Rider rates, wow, it's probably the best on the market. That's quite a statement. But there's so much going on. It's, yeah, I would say it's gotta be. At the moment it's got class leading power, class leading torque, class leading rider rates. It is a mighty impressive package. And what's, at first I thought it was a little bit overcomplicated, because there's a lot going on, but the more you ride it, the more you get used to it. We've only had a day on it, so if you owned the bike you would soon personalise all the suspension and ABS to how you want it. Like in touring mode, I don't really like how the back does the front as much. I want that less, but I like everything else in touring mode. I like the rear shocks just dropped again. So I would have probably ABS 2 rather than ABS 3, which means the front does the back but the back doesn't do the front, and leave everything in touring mode. And again in dynamic I've just changed it a little bit, sorry, in sport, left the suspension in auto, and just turned the wheelie control off for immature reasons. But I've still got traction control even because it's wet and horrible. Would I do some big miles on this bike? It's a globe-trotting bike, 100%. I mean, we're in northern Italy now, it's November. I would quite happily ride this all the way back to England through horrible conditions, knowing I'm safe, warm and dry. Off-road, that's still a bit of a question mark. I've rode the previous rally off-road before. I did a couple of jumps on it, and it's pretty good off-road. I mean, if you want something really off-road, you go Desert X, or you even go Enduro, because KTM do Enduro models. The big thing is, obviously, the big grey elephant in the room is the BMW GS Adventure and GS. Because I've spent 2 days on the GS Adventure, the big kind of Lego tank big girl, and I really like that. And for some people as well, I know, they prefer a shaft drive over a chain drive, but then again, some people are going to prefer the brand Ducati over BMW. Some people are going to prefer V4 170 horsepower over a 1300 Boxer. So that's kind of horses for courses, isn't it? KTM have got a new adventure around the corner, which I'll be riding shortly, but I don't think it'll have the sophistication of this, but then it was probably cheaper. This is 25 grand in base spec for the V4 for the rally, but then you've got to add the travel packs. We've got the luggage and the heated seats and a few bits. It's ridiculously good. Imagine this like 20 years ago. We've got virtual sensors that don't actually exist, transmitting to the bike what's happening, and the bike is reacting to how I ride and what I'm doing, and the front's telling the back what's about to happen. I can set it to low grip suspension, I can turn down the power, I can turn up the power, I've got quartering ABS. And it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a fun bike to ride. I mean, it's a shame today that the weather's been so crap, because the real ace card of the Multistrada is 170 brake horsepower. You know, I remember when superbikes had 170 horsepower, and it's usable 170 horsepower because of all the rider aids and all the tech. Oh, shit me. Love a bit of Italian roadworks there. Well, nobody knows what's happening. So, if I was going around the world, would I buy, or would I attempt it on a Ducati Rally? Yeah. I think they were saying there's 800 service centres around the world, 4 years warranty, massive service intervals. The kind of Multistrada reliability is almost unquestionable. I think it was Motorrad who did 100,000 miles on one, pulled it apart, and it was perfectly fine, and actually produced 6 more horsepower than it should do. So, a thoroughly worthy test to do, and I'm kind of glad the conditions of this crap, because it's been a good way to test all the rider aids and the wind protection. Price is not cheap, 25 grand to start with. Screen maybe should be electric, but to be honest I don't really care about that, but I know some people will. And then it's just down to personal preference, because I know some people want a shaft drive, not a chain drive. But if you want to know any technical details, as usual, you know, 30 litre tank, massive range, better MPG, rear cylinder deactivation, blah blah blah, then fire some questions below. Holy god, it's got foggy. And yeah, I'll get back to you. Click on the subscription button if you can. Don't know what I'm doing with this channel at the moment, but it's a bit of fun and it's a good way of chatting with you guys. So I'll see you on the next one.